Good morning, girls. Happy Saturday. Hope you all had a nice Friday. Ours was weird. It's one of those weird days. Right, Winnie? We decided to take Winnie for a ride, and she's decided she no longer wants to be a good rider. She wants to puke every time. So we tried it yesterday, and she threw up 4 times in the course of 30 minutes. So that made for a fun afternoon of cleaning up shaken head dog vomit out of the car. So the day we brought her home, she rode 7.5 hours without throwing up. She can't do it now. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's what you wanted to start your morning off thinking about, right? Dog puke? You're welcome. Congratulations. You've joined devotions where we talk about puke and probably sacrifices. All right. February 7th, the 10 Commandments, Exodus 20, 1 through 21. I am the Lord your God, who rescued you from the land of Egypt, the place of your slavery. You must not have any other God before me, but me. You must not have any other God but me. You must not make for yourself an idol or any kind of an image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in the sea. You must not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God who will not tolerate your affection for other gods. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children. The entire family is affected, even children in the 3rd and 4th generations of those who reject me. But I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands. You must not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you misuse his name. Remember to observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath day of rest dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigners living among you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and everything in them. But on the 7th day he rested. That is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy. Honor your father and mother. Then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You must not murder. You must not commit adultery. You must not steal. You must not testify falsely against your neighbor. You must not covet your neighbor's house. You must not covet your neighbor's wife, male or female servant, ox or donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. When the people heard the thunder and the loud blast of the ram's horn, and when they saw the flashes of lightning and the smoke billowing from the mountain, they stood at a distance, trembling with fear. And they said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen, but don't let God speak directly to us, or we will die." "Don't be afraid," Moses answered them, "for God has come in this way to test you, and so that your fear of him will keep you from sinning." As the people stood in the distance, Moses approached the dark cloud where God was. Proper use of altars, Exodus 20 through 26. And the Lord said to Moses, "Say to the people of Israel, you saw for yourselves that I spoke to you from heaven. Remember, you must not make any idols of silver or gold to rival me. Build an altar for me made of earth, and offer your sacrifices to me, your burnt offerings and peace offerings, your sheep and goats, your cattle. Build my altar wherever I cause my name to be remembered, and I will come and bless you. If you use stones to build my altar, use only natural uncut stones. Do not shape stones with a tool that would make the altar unfit for holy use. And do not approach my altar by going up steps. If you do, someone might look up under your clothing and see your nakedness." Fair treatment of slaves, Exodus 21, 1 through 11. These are the regulations you must present Israel. If you buy a Hebrew slave, he may serve no more than 6 years. Set him free in the 7th year, and he will owe you nothing for his freedom. If he was single when he became your slave, he shall leave single. But if he was married before he became a slave, then his wife must be freed with him. If his master gave him a wife while he was a slave, and they had sons or daughters, then only the man will be free in the 7th year, but his wife and children will still belong to his master. But the slave may declare, "I love my master, my wife, and my children. I don't want to go free." If he does this, his master must present him before God. Then his master must take him to the door or doorpost and publicly pierce his ear with an awl. That makes me cringe every time I read it. After that, the slave will serve his master for life. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she will not be freed at the end of the 6 years as men are. If she does not satisfy her owner, he must allow her to be bought back again. But he is not allowed to sell. He is not allowed to sell for foreigners, since he is the one who broke the contract with her. But if the slave owner arranges for her to marry his son, he may no longer treat her as a slave, but as a daughter. If a man who has married a slave wife takes another wife for himself, he must not neglect the rights of the first wife to food, clothing, and sexual intimacy. If he fails in any of these three obligations, she may leave as a free woman without making payment. Cases of personal injury, Exodus 21:12 through 36. Anyone who assaults and kills another person must be put to death. But if it was simply an accident permitted by God, I will appoint a place of refuge where the slayer can run for safety. However, if someone deliberately kills another person, then the slayer must be dragged even from the altar and be put to death. Anyone who strikes father or mother must be put to death. Kidnappers must be put to death, whether they are caught in possession of their victims or have already sold them as slaves. Anyone who dishonors father or mother must be put to death. Now, suppose two men quarrel, and one hits the other with a stone or a fist, and the injured person does not die but is confined to bed. If he is later able to walk outside again, even with a crutch, the assailant will not be punished, but must compensate his victim or female slave with a club, and the slave dies as a result, the owner must be punished. But if the slave recovers within a day or two, then the owner shall not be punished, since the slave is his property. Now, suppose two men are fighting, and in the process they accidentally strike a pregnant woman, or she gives birth prematurely. If no further injury results, the man who struck the woman must pay the amount of compensation the woman's husband demands and the judge approves. But if there is further injury, punishment must match the injury. A life for a life, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, a burn for a burn, a wound for a wound, a bruise for a bruise. If the man hits his male or female servant in the eye and the eye is blinded, he must let the slave go free to compensate for the eye. And if a man knocks out the tooth of his male or female slave, he must let the slave go free to compensate for the tooth. If an ox gores a man or woman to death, the ox must be stoned, and its flesh may not be eaten. In such case, however, the owner will not be held liable. But suppose the ox had a reputation for goring, and the owner had been informed, but failed to keep it under control. If the ox then kills someone, it must be stoned, and the owner must be put to death. However, the dead person's relatives may accept payment to compensate for the loss of life. The owner of the ox may redeem his life by paying whatever is demanded. The same regulation applies if the ox gores a boy or a girl. But if the ox gores a slave, either male or female, the animal's owner must pay the slave's owner 30 silver coins, and the ox must be stoned. Suppose someone digs or uncovers a pit and falls to cover it, and then an ox or donkey falls into it. The owner of the pit must pay full compensation to the owner of the animal, but then he gets to keep the dead animal. If someone's ox injures a neighbor's ox and the injured ox dies, then the two owners must sell the live ox and divide the price equally between them. They must also divide the dead animal. But if the ox had a reputation for goring, yet its owners failed to keep it under control, he must pay full compensation, a live ox for a dead one, but he may keep the dead ox. Protection of property, Exodus 22:1 through 15. If someone steals an ox or a sheep and then kills it, the thief must pay back 5 oxen for each ox stolen, and 4 sheep for each sheep stolen. If a thief is caught in the act of breaking into a house and is struck and killed in the process, the person who killed the thief is not guilty of murder. But if it happens in daylight, the one who killed the thief is guilty of murder. A thief who is caught must pay in full for everything he stole. If he cannot pay, he must be sold as a slave to pay for his theft. If someone steals an ox or a donkey or a sheep and is found in the sheep and it is found in the thief's possession, then the thief must pay double the value of the stolen animal. If an animal grazing in a field or a vineyard, and the owner lets it stray into someone else's field to graze, then the animal's owner must pay compensation from the best of his own grains or grapes. If you are burning thorn bushes and fire gets out of control and spreads into another person's field, destroying the sheaves or the uncut grain or the whole crop, the one who started the fire must pay for the lost crop. Suppose someone leaves money or goods with a neighbor for safekeeping and they are stolen from the neighbor's house. If the thief is caught, the compensation is double the value of what was stolen. If the thief is not caught, the neighbor must appear before God, who will determine if he stole the property. Suppose there is a dispute between two people who both claim to own a particular ox, donkey, sheep, article of clothing, or any lost property. Both parties must come before God, and the person who God declares guilty must pay double compensation to the other. Now, suppose someone leaves a donkey, ox, sheep, or other animals with a neighbor for safekeeping, but it dies or is injured or is taken away, and no one sees what happened. The neighbor must take an oath in the presence of the Lord. If the Lord confirms that the neighbor did not steal the property, the owner must accept the verdict, and no payment will be required. But if the animal was indeed stolen, the guilty person must pay compensation to the owner. If it was torn to pieces by a wild animal, the remains of the carcass must be shown as evidence, and no compensation will be required. If someone borrows an animal from a neighbor and it is injured or dies when the owner is absent, the person who borrowed it must pay full compensation. But if the owner was present, no compensation is required, and no compensation is required if the animal was rented, for the loss is covered by the rental fee. I know these chapters are sometimes really hard to read because, well, we don't own any oxen. We don't own oxen. Is one an ox and two oxen? We don't own oxen. Therefore, it's hard to relate to some of this. And I find it hard to relate to some of that, just like I found history in school. I was never a big fan of history because I couldn't relate to a lot of it. But it's still important information for us to know, right? It's still important for us to understand, or to at least read and try to understand the point of all of it, which was boundaries and rules for our life at a time when there was a lot of oxen and there was slavery in the land. It was part of culture and part of government allowed it, and it was how the world was run back then. And so there needed to be moral guidelines that went along with that. The same as today. It's just different. Oxen are other things now. That's my thought on it. Winnie, you're all tangled up in a cord, honey. She's all curled up on my feet. All right, girls. Let's see. Let me read through. I know it is good breakfast conversation, isn't it? Everybody loves to talk about that while they're eating breakfast. Speaking of breakfast, I got to get something in my belly. We're headed out to get the oil changed in a car. So an exciting Saturday task. Everybody loves sitting in a car dealership while they change the oil in your vehicle. So, and it's freezing. It's only 30, which on its own isn't freezing, but the wind is whipping and it is cold. I don't know what the feels like is, but it is, let's see, feels like 21. Yeah. It's cold. It feels colder at 21 degrees in the wind than it felt last week when it was 7 degrees. It actually feels colder. You guys, I'm so ready for summer. I'm so ready to get in the convertible. I'm just done. All right, my loves. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. Let's go ahead and end in prayer. God, our Father, thank you for allowing us to come together before you as a community and lay our concerns and our worries and our hurts and our wins and our joys and all of it at your feet. God, we just thank you that the God we serve is one that asks us to lay those burdens at your feet. Help us to lay them there, leave them there, and not pick them back up again. God, each woman here has something on their heart and mind, I know, and I just ask for your strength, your provision, your grace today for each and every one. Help us to be wise with what we choose to do with our time today, our finances, with every choice that we make today. May it be honoring and to you, healing to our bodies, strengthening to our bodies, and just worship to you in your precious name. Amen. All right. 0 degrees today, and the wind is 0 plus wind, so it's like below 0 cold. Yes, Meredith. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, 15. It can be over. It can be over. Last year on Valentine's, we were in the convertible. The day after Christmas, we were in the convertible. I'm highly offended by the weather this winter. Highly offended. Personally attacked. By the way, there is a house across the road from me for sale. If anyone is looking to move next to me, I will share desserts and cottage cheese bowls, and I'll make you lasagna sometimes. If you would like to come live next to me, the only requirement is you're quiet, you don't have loud cars, you don't have a nasty dog, and you don't have children. Those are my rules. So if you meet all those requirements, please apply on Zillow. First, fill out an application with KJ for approval, and then apply on Zillow. It's right across from me, right there. I know, but I'm moving. You're right. I am hoping to move anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Cindy, that house would be so perfect for you and Mac. It is the perfect home for you and Mac. It would be perfect. Cindy, come buy it. I'll pay your taxes if you come buy it. No one is going to want to live next to a neighbor. What does that mean, Meredith? I am not the neighborhood grouch. I just don't like your kids. I'm sure your kids are great. I just don't want them in my yard and stuff. You guys, I want to move to a retirement community where people are nearing death, so they're quiet. Like the biggest noise you hear in your neighborhood is their rickety walker as they walk to their mailbox. That's the neighborhood I want to live in. Right next to a graveyard. What I'm designed for. But yes, valid point. I am looking for a new place to live. Right now, we're poking all around the Johnson City area, and next week we'll be poking all around the Nashville area, and then we'll poke all around another area. We're poking all around Tennessee and also potentially Florida. We're just looking. Just looking. Sirens I can handle. Sirens I can handle. Ruby. Listen, I am. Oh no. Honestly, the kids are nice. Like sometimes, like I just don't enjoy hearing their laughter and stuff. Like I'm the get off my lawn sign on the front yard kind of a girl. Shelly. I don't want that either. I want like 57 acres and a house dead center in the middle of it and a driveway with a gate where nobody can get in. I'll walk to the end of my 2-mile driveway to get my Amazon package. That's what I want. Actually, it's more my husband that wants all of that, less me. I can handle this more, but I still, I just like quiet. I don't want a neighborhood. I want to move to a lot of acres where no one can hear or see me. Yes, that's what I want, Meredith. I'm just teasing when I say I dislike kids that much. I don't dislike them that much. They make me nervous. Okay, kids give me anxiety. Kids have always given me anxiety. When I was in high school, I preferred hanging out with adults because the kids made me nervous. Marin makes me nervous. Kids make me nervous. I don't know, Susan. I don't know. I don't know. I get nervous. Meredith, I have no idea. What did you say in your comment that caused my autoresponder to send you something? Oh, move. You said move. You got an exercise thing. KJ, we have to be related. I'm the same way. Give me quiet. Let me love my pups and yours, and kids make me nervous. See, Karen? See, we need to be neighbors. We could like exercise together, bake stuff together, and then I could be like, you need to go home because I need some alone time, like 21 hours a day. So bye. But we could have coffee and then just exercise and then be like, see you later. Land is nice, Julie, and it's hard to find. It's really hard to find because I do have some requirements. I want land. I want peace and quiet. I don't want to be next to a chicken coop anywhere because they stink. Terrible. I've learned that living in North Carolina around Tyson. I don't want to be anywhere near chicken coops. Like, I don't mean like the neighbor's chicken coop. I mean like commercial chicken coops. Worst smell on the planet. Don't want to be anywhere near a chicken coop. So that's one requirement. The other requirement is I don't want to be anywhere where it might flood. Like, I don't want flooding. I really don't want to be where there'll be a lot of snow, which, I mean, I would have said that's here. Right, correct. I also want Walmart Plus and Sam's Club to be able to deliver there. I want peace and quiet, good neighbors. I want, there's other things. I want good Wi Fi. I'd really like fiber Wi Fi. I'd really like that. I'd like a fenced in yard so the dog can run and I don't have to be there all the time. She can run. However, all of this needs to be within driving distance to a Home Goods and a TJ Maxx. Those are my rules. I need to be quickly able to get to a Home Goods for an emergency. You never know when you're gonna need an emergency Home Goods trip. So those are my requirements. And it needs to be under like 500,000 because that's what all houses cost now. Right, you're right, Shelley. You're right. Every house we look at that meets those requirements is like 1.8 million. That's slightly out of my price range. I could start a GoFundMe and work on. Oh, and yes, it needs to be somewhat close to a gym and it needs to be a newer construction because I'm not a fixer upper kind of girl because I don't know what to do. Not because I'm needy and need fancy. It's not because I'm, you know, better than having an older home. I love a 1980s looking home. Like that's my jam. Like the house on the Goldbergs. I'd love to have that home. Like I love that. But I don't want to have to fix anything because we don't know how to do that. My husband he's very good at replacing doorknobs and light fixtures and he can install outlets and he could install a new faucet. But if we have to put floors down or replace sheetrock, it's all over. Okay. Let's talk, you and I. But I also don't know that I want to live in Texas. Sounds like stay where you are, buy out the neighbors' houses, and destroy the houses. It's an option. I don't know that I could afford all 50 houses in this cul-de-sac. Well, I don't mean that it's Meredith. 1980s is not that it's an old home, it's that it usually needs some major work. Every home we look at that was built before like 2010, every home needs like major work, needs basement repairs, or needs new windows, or needs new roof, or needs new floors, or it needs major work. And we just don't have, number one, financial capacity, number two, mental capacity, number three, patience, four, desire, five, education to do changes like that. Like, we just, some people can buy a house that needs work and take it and do all the things. That is not who we are. Not those people. We're not those people at all. So, all right. Thanks for joining me, Kay. Listen, if my Curds and Wow reels take off, some people are making 50 grand a month on reels. If y'all would go like, share, save, hit the little save button on my reels, I might be able to afford Kay's house. Okay? So help a girl out and go like and share my reels and my posts and join coaching and all that stuff. Maybe. And then I'll get a place big enough that I could have a retreat. Do you think you'll buy a new home, brand new, and just live long enough to not replace the things down the road? Well, yes, I would love that. But other people in the home do not desire to rent again. We did not like our first experience renting. Landlords were they were a little bit. I don't want to do that again. See, we can keep up with small repairs, but I don't want to have to go into a home and do all that stuff. Some of the homes we look at, 1980s home or 60s or 50s, it needs all this work, and they want 550,000 for it. I can't. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. And why are houses so expensive? Here's what I really want. If you want, ultimately know what I really want. I want a home in the country that's within driving distance of town, that has a lot of land, and I want to put a brand new single wide mobile home and a big garage. That would be a dream for me. I'm fine. I like that, brand new, maybe a double wide. Let's up it a little. Let's go a little fancier and go double the width, but have a big garage where I can put all my crap in boxes, like have storage. Low payment, new until I die. But my husband always says things like, but it doesn't increase in value. Neither do I. I'm going to die and my value is going to be gone. So why do I need something that increases in value? We had a landlord who didn't want our 2-year-old to play in the snow because he was. Oh, I might have been your landlord in a past life. And we had landlords that wanted to come spend the summer in our basement. No, thank you. Appreciate the offer, but all right, we got to go. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing Saturday, and keep your eyes out for my next Curds and Whey video. And make sure you like, share, comment, all that jazz. It helps me beyond belief. And yeah, I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for the combo.